better than 2022, and I think it just goes to show that Pasigueños believe in the direction that we are going as a city now.
Oo. Palagay mo, bakit ganito kataas ang bilang ni Vico Soto and the landslide win, considering a little bit of backgrounder, no, for our viewers? Nasampahan ka ng dalawang graft cases na hindi mo pinansin, you know? But we'll talk about that later. Kung ano-anong akusasyon ang itinapon sa'yo with regards to the new Pasig City Hall and other projects. Pero yet, the Pasigueños gave you a stronger mandate.
Well, Ma'am Karen, siguro ang nakita po dito ay yung mga akusasyon, kung ano man na aligasyon, wala kasing basihan eh. If it even had, the smallest amount of evidence or the smallest amount of may problema talaga, may nangyari talagang hindi maganda, siguro iba yung magiging reaction ng Pasigueño. Pero gaya na banggit nyo, may nag-file ng kaso sa ombudsman. Kahit sino pwede naman mag-file ng kaso sa ombudsman without any evidence. File lang naman yun eh. Papareceive mo lang yung papel, papakita mo lang sa media, uy, received copy. But wala naman nangyari doon. Hindi ko alam kung ano nangyari, kung may fact-finding ba or what. We didn't even receive a copy of those, of all of those cases they filed. We didn't even receive a copy from the ombudsman. So, ganun ka walang kwenta yung mga kaso. Kung may kahit konting basehan yan, siguro nagpadalaman lang yung ombudsman sa amin ng kopya para sabihin na, uy, paliwanag nyo to. Or wala eh. Ganun ka walang kwenta. Talagang harassment lang. So, tingin ko nakita ng tao ito eh. They saw right through all of these schemes, all of these dirty tactics, from fake rallies to whatever else they did. And I mean, they really spent a lot. Our opponents, yung katumbali namin, talagang gumasos na malaki. Pero the people saw right through it.
Oo. Ito matanong ko lang before we get to the real issues. Nagulat po ba kayo, Mayor, na yung katunggali nyo, si Sara Diskaya, was a first-time voter?
Yes.
Oo. Pati buong Pilipinas nagulat.
Totoo po. Hindi na para mag-comment ako kasi marami nang nasabi ang lahat ng tao. But yes, to answer your question.
Okay. All right. So you said famously is this. One of your legacies is gusto nyo madaling gumawa ng tama, mahirap gumawa ng mali. Sounds good, very idealistic. Can you explain it to us right now, what it would look like in real life in City Hall?
Right. City Hall and LGU has hundreds, if not thousands, of different programs, projects, activities at any given time. And, we're proud of our accomplishments in healthcare. For instance, before our interview started, I was going through the list of infrastructure work that we're doing, our progress in universal healthcare. We're very proud of all of that. But the thing that we're most proud of is our steps towards the institutionalization of good practices, of good governance reforms. Kasi kung mapalakas natin yung mga good governance reforms na ito, makasiguro tayo na hindi na nakasentro sa isang tao lang, hindi isang mayor lang, kundi mas magiging maganda yung performance ng lokal na pamahalaan as a whole or in general. So nandito po yung mass regularization program, the HR reforms that will improve the level of service delivery of the city.
Ano yun? Ano yun? DHR, what does that mean?
HR, Human Resources.
Go ahead. Okay.
HR reform, so from recruitment, selection, and placement, we really fixed how we do things, rationalization of different offices. Ibig sabihin, sobra ba yung plantilla, kulang ba, kailangan ba natin magdagdag ng gantong item, and then the mass regularization program, when we assumed office in 2019, only 1 out of 10 employees were permanent. The rest were contractual, casual job order. Now, we're already up to 7 out of 10 employees are permanent or regular. So, these are things that will outlast the term of a mayor.
Oh.
The capacity building programs, the learning and development programs, and we're only talking about HR, hindi pa yung ibang fields like procurement reform, yung sa bidding na siguraduhin na totoo, may capacity yung LGU. So this is, we're talking about a whole lot of different topics, offices, sectors. And again, as you mentioned, the goal really here is that in the long run or in the long term, outlasting the term of a mayor, we want to make sure that in Pasig, it is now easier to do good, easier to govern well, and harder to be corrupt, harder to engage in patronage politics.
So ano ang gagawin mo, Mayor Vico? Because you had an interview I watched and I was quite impressed when you said, let's not look for a savior, but it should be structural reforms. Ang corruption kasi sa mayor's office, yung gusto magtayo ng negosyo, yung magsasara ng kontrata. What reforms will you put para yung mga susunod na mayor, hindi nila mabago yun? They have to follow the law. What would it be?
Of course, it's easier said than done, but really the strengthening of the bureaucracy is one. So for instance, procurement reform. So as a mayor, kaya kong sabihin na hindi ako tatanggap ng lagay, wala akong tatanggapin na kickback kahit 1 piso. Ako yun. Hindi yun institutionalized. Pag pumalit sa akin, corrupt, posible na tatanggap siya ulit. Posible na ihingi siya ulit. How do we prevent that? Strengthening our bureaucracy, strengthening the processes. You know, when we started here, even our engineering department and other offices, hindi sila sanay kung paano yung tamang pagpapatakbo ng papel. Hindi nila alam paano gawin yung mga under RA 9184 sa Procurement Act natin. Talagang kagulo. Hindi sanay na sumunod sa tamang proseso. So we start from the basics. In 2019, we started from the basics. And then, sabayan natin ng rationalization of offices. Kung dati, may secretariat lang, tapos parang ad hoc lang. Ngayon, meron ng official office na may ordinansa to, Procurement Management Office. We're able to hire better people. We're able to attract more honest people who are competent as well. And then sabayan natin ng capacity building, both of the LGU side and the civil society side. Ito yung mga magbabantay naman sa LGU.